as we all know, Grand Peace isn't doing so hot. So, to figure out what's going on, I had to pull in a special guest. But before we get into that, I'm Kasai Chose, and I'm gonna need you to subscribe and listen. Alright. Hello, Revolver AGZ. Thank you for popping in. I'm Kasai, and it's come to my attention. You have a quite strong opinion on the rise and downfall of Grand Peace. So, my first question to you is what with what FOU has been doing, do you believe there is even a slimmer of hope for the game?
That's a good question. I'm not gonna lie to you. Um, yes and no. Uh, the no part of it is really just me being bitter towards GPO. I feel like you could have taken the game in a much better direction from off rip. Update one, update two. He could have taken the game in a completely different direction than he did, but I guess it worked out for him. I guess he made his money, but the old player base will probably never come back. There's a lot of the OG player base that will never come back. So FOU's attention is definitely towards newer players and the players that are already in the game. Um, and I definitely think GPO is not gonna be bringing in new players consistently, or at least at a faster rate. So his attention is to keep the players that are playing the game there. So he needs to focus on his concurrent.
Yeah.
Uh, will it ever grow? Will it ever be more than what it is now? I don't think so. I don't think FOU's actually capable of pulling that off. Even if FOU brings in the most hyped fruits, I feel like in terms of the gameplay loop, the progression, content that he actually brings into the game, it will never be interesting enough to bring old players back or bring new players in. So GPO will either always stay where it is, stagnant within that 5 to 12, 15K range, or it will just slowly start to diminish over time. And then another factor that's going to contribute to that is upcoming games. So obviously, not even just games like RLCs. RLCs may or may not affect GPO, but once there are a bunch of new games on the platform, will GPO start to fall? People might start getting bored of GPO, and FOU already takes 4 months at a time to even update the game, anyways. So it's only a matter of time. There are better games coming within the One Piece niche and even outside the One Piece niche. It really just depends on FOU's capabilities and these other games coming out.
Mm. Um, I have a like a un unrelated question somewhat. Do you think that the One Piece niche on Roblox right now is a bit oversaturated?
You know what? That's a good question because it's as there's always how do I even answer this? There are the One Piece games on the platform that we all know. Blocks Fruits, you got King's Legacy, you got like uh Fruit, whatever those Fruit games are that actually have a steady player count.
Yeah.
And then there's always a new One Piece game that comes out, but the new ones always die. The new One Piece games always die. They're always trying to do the Blocks Fruits formula or the a One Piece game formula.
Yeah. Okay.
But is it oversaturated? I don't think so,
You don't?
because the new ones always die,
Yeah.
and the ones that are already out, there's only about 4 or 5 notable ones outside of GPO.
Okay.
So I don't know if I would say that's oversaturated.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I think we could do with some new heat. I don't really think the only good One Piece game in development, anyways, is RLCs from what I've seen so far, at least.
Okay. So back to GPO. I just really needed that opinion of yours. What was the worst update that probably caused a lot of those older players to just stop entirely?
Oh. You know what? I don't even think it's a case of the update. I think it's how long it took the updates to come. Because I think there was a time frame. I think we waited 6 months for an update. I don't remember which gap that was, but I remember there was a 6 or 7 month wait for one of the updates.
It was
Um,
update 3 to update 4, I believe. I remember.
was it that? Was it update 3 to update 4? Yeah, I probably it was a long wait. No one wants to wait 6 months for update that has 4 days, 3 days worth of content in it. Um, I don't know, Update one was the PCC with not PCC, CC, the Santa Claus stuff, Skypiea. When did we actually get the 1v1s and 2v2s? Was that update 2, Coliseum?
I have no clue. Probably.
I think that was update 2 or 3. That was a good update. We had Gravito's Fort Fishman Island. Update 3 was update 3 Sandora? No, that was update 4.
Yep.
I said Sandora, I meant Alabasta. I think that was update 4 with the career racing. What was update 3?
Update 3 was trading in the Elo Island.
Trading in Elo. Yeah, that was actually a pretty good update too, if I'm being quite honest.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that update had Gum Gum as well. Uh, you know what? I actually think it was probably update 4 was disappointing to a certain degree. The only good thing about update 4 was two sword style. Yeah, I think the only good thing about update 4 is two sword style.
Yeah.
I think it had to have been update 4, update 5.
Okay.
But second C was a kind of hype, low key, high key. I don't know. I don't think there's a specific update that was necessarily bad because all GPO updates are essentially the same thing. So if I say one's bad, the majority of them are bad.
Yeah.
I think it's really just the waits in between. And then the update is never really worth the wait. 6 months of waiting for barely any content and like 2 or 3 fruits. Three's even a stretch. 2 fruits. It's never really worth the wait. So I think it's the wait in between the updates that did the damage and not actually the updates. And obviously when the updates actually do come, it does bring hype, but the update itself, the content the update brings is always lackluster. It's never really enough. I do think the best update we've gotten so far, even though that's not a question, best update we've gotten so far is definitely, I think I have to give it to Impel Down.
Impel Down?
I have a Dressrosa and Impel Down. Is that the same update? That is the same update.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think I generally agree. But see, there's like this problem, right? Because my friend told me that it's not the GPO's bad per se anymore, it's that it lost a lot of its players. There's another point or update that really like defined or showed a dip, and that was right after free release. You know, when it spiked up all the way to what, 200,000 players, and then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
one update after that, it went all the way down to 20,000 players. What happened there?
A lot of players came to GPO to try it out and realized multiple things. The grind to max level is boring. It's just as if not even more boring than Bloxfruit's grind to max level. And not only is the grind to max level boring, it's hard for new players to actually come in and stay in the game. GPO doesn't have a big new player welcoming big hug. Like coming into GPO as a new player is genuinely hard. So again, that's a lot of the reason why new players aren't coming in. I think that's another reason why FOU changed up the aesthetic of the game, tried to make it a little bit more aesthetically pleasing with the UI changes. But nobody wants to grind to max level. It's terrible. Getting into trading or even getting items that are worth it as a new player is almost impossible unless you're willing to grind your life away for it. Again, getting into trading as a new player is almost impossible too, because you're not going to get anything worth trading unless you're willing to grind. GPO is just not worth it. There's nothing worth it. It's
Yeah.
not worth it at all. And if you miss the updates where they had accessories that are worth a lot of things, again, it's just impossible. It's not worth grinding for.
Okay. So, how would you say the state of like PvP is right now, and did it contribute in any way to GPO's downfall?
You want to know something funny? GPO's never had great PvP,
Mm-hmm.
but when for the time frame GPO came out, what end of 2021, um, GPO had back then that was the combat system was amazing for that time 2021 period. That's probably the best thing we've ever seen combat system wise on Roblox, or at least at the time from what I was seeing. We hadn't seen a One Piece game do what GPO was doing in terms of the fruit quality and the gameplay aesthetics. So when GPO was first shown, oh my gosh, it looked like the best thing ever. And even getting into it at the time, the combat actually wasn't terrible. You had your PV system. Even Blackleg back on release, there was a lot of OP combos that felt you nerfed after the first couple days. Um, Obviously PvP has progressed from release to now. PvP now, I haven't actually played PvP recently or seen PvP recently, but from what I have seen from the last time I've played, PvP is mid. You have your evasive counter. It's really just holding block until you find a way in, or catching out your opponents whilst they're holding block, or just ability spamming.
Yeah.
There's no two ways around it. So it's
Okay.
really just who has the better fruit or the better fighting style. GPL's PvP has been mid for a while. I think after update, I mean, before fruitless player used to be able to contest with a player with a fruit, and now I think that's almost impossible unless you have a really good fighting style.
I noticed
But I'm
that.
just talking about straight weapon, no fruit, no fighting style, just weapon, no fruit. You can't do anything.
Yeah.
And you used to be able to actually fight fruit players with just the weapon. So it's just unbalanced now. GPO doesn't have a PvP scene in my opinion. It's just a mess.
That's actually like that's what I've been noticing because I started making GPO vids mainly because that's the niche I understand the most. But after I started back playing the PvP, dear lord, I don't run meta, right? So I tried, lo and behold, I tried to use just a weapon and a fighting style, not anything broken, maybe like vampire, and they fried me. It wasn't even just it wasn't skill. It wasn't just there was no competition in fighting these players because their kits were so unbalanced compared to mine, which really which really felt demoralizing when trying to actually play something unique in the game.
Yeah, there's no it's cooked. I'm not gonna lie. Nothing to say for PvP scene other than it's cooked. I honestly think people playing GPO now, I mean, is either BR or trading. Is anyone actually taking PvP that seriously?
Probably not.
And BR is RNG. If you get something good, you win. If you don't, well, you're cooked.
Yeah,
So BR is not skill based whatsoever. I don't know if I mean there probably definitely are people taking PvP seriously, but
yeah.
I don't think the PvP scene is anything too great. So
Okay. How do you think the community shifted from the start of the game to the end of the game, well, to where we are right now? Because I've been playing the game for a hot minute, right? And
when did you get into it?
when did I get it? I got into it early update 2 to late update 3.
Okay, okay. You a late comer, but yeah,
Yeah.
you've been here for a while now.
But since when I started, the community was its strongest during update 3 or before that. And then it kind of diminished once I don't really know. What do you think?
I don't know. It's really hard to keep track of when GPOs uh because there's been so many up and downs. So it's hard to keep track of the loyalty of the community and when people stopped playing and got back into playing. Uh from the start, I'm not gonna lie, GPO had everyone locked in at the start. I mean, it started off paid access as well. Well, we all know it was paid access. But the people who actually got into the game, GPO had a pretty tight knit community. Like that early GPO, everyone was trying to get max level, and then the crews. I feel like crews had such a big important part of GPO's community towards that. Well, from release to like that update two. I don't update three. The crew starts not really matter as much, but update two ish, crews were still pretty important, pretty big, a big factor of playing GPO is getting into a good crew.
Hmm.
Um, and I don't know why you didn't make use of everyone of all the crew hype, whatever the case may be. The community, I don't know if you were tapped in back then. You had Alucard, you had
Yeah.
JP, you had the Whitebeard Pirates. There was a whole bunch of like big crews. Even Silver Moon, my old crew, well, still here, but my old crew beefing people from Alucard and JP, like it was huge. GPO's scene was huge. Like I look back and reminisce, it's like, damn, it was so toxic, but it was so fun, and it brought the community together. And people were making sides. It was genuinely a movie. Um, I don't know. When did people just stop caring? Again, it was those waits in between the updates. And
Yeah.
then when the updates did come, it was just like, this is kind of the same thing from the last update, or it wasn't really anything too like great. For it was just really a sequence of for you continuously letting people down and then waiting, just those long periods of nothing. So I don't know. I'll probably say around that update 3 to 4 period where people just started to tune out. I feel like everybody in GPO now, um, it's either you're like in love with the game to the point you don't see its flaws, you're playing it because you're bored, or you're just a dick rider. From what I noticed. No, seriously. Even how I lost my tester roles because people were dick riding. And it's just like, are we not playing the same game? I feel like a lot, even the testers now, not all of them. I wouldn't say more towards the content creators that have tester now, because most of them don't really care about the game anymore. But like just the normal people who are testers, the admins, and even some of the devs, they're just blind. Like it's just blind love for GPO. They're living in nostalgia and they're letting their roles, whether it's on Discord or the fact that they've been in the game for so long, kind of give them a little ego trip.
Yeah.
So yeah, everyone just has a little bit of an ego, and everyone just that's still playing the game, from what I know, just blindly in love with GPO.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know how do you think the community is now? Because I'm not really tapped in no more. I just
Ooh.
comment under these videos to make people rage.
Okay. To be honest, I stopped I stopped like pretty much messing with the community once I saw that the crews were down. Like, when the crew update happened, everything was
Yeah.
super big. A lot of crews were kind of resurfacing, but then like everything just started breaking down point by point. It was like, for you, please fix the crew update, and he didn't fix that till what, like 2 months later. I wasn't messing with that, and a lot of the other communities, like the trading's there. Trading's there. They're BR, and the PvE community, they don't talk. They're just
Oh, yeah.
yeah. It's like everybody that really was passionate about the community, they don't play the game anymore. That's that's where GPO is right now. It's like It's like in an undead state.
Yeah, literally. I feel like everyone playing is just literally just blindly playing. At this point, pressing the play button because there's nothing else to do.
Yeah.
And even with the crew update, it's like you can't do things that are genuine without it seeming disingenuous. Or did I mix that up? Like, cool, with the crew update, it's like, okay, you need to be top, what, 100 or top 50 crews in order to get ace. And it's like, in order to actually stay on in top 50, you kind of need to know life or have people on literally 24/7 taking the playing the game in shifts. It's
Yeah.
just like, why, if you're gonna add stuff like Yoru and Ace or whatever, make it so that everybody has a way to gain access to it.
Yeah.
Don't make it disingenuous by making it so that it feels like some sort of live service. If you're not consistently doing something or playing the game, you're gonna lose access to it. Why should I lose access to something I worked hard for? It's so stupid. And I feel like that alone should have made everybody that came back to the game for things like Ace and Yoru just completely quit. Because it's so disingenuous. It's
Yeah.
terrible. Terrible. Honestly, it's so bad. And then
Yeah.
locking items behind the battle pass. Oh my gosh, bro. Don't force me to play this shit BR mode. BR was really fun when it first came out though.
Yeah.
Um and I feel like again, as Foley does, he does something good and does 10 things bad right behind. He didn't actually take the proper care when it came to maintaining or the maintenance of the BR game mode. He just made it and just kind of left it.
Yeah.
So it Foley. It's really just Foley, bro.
There's a lot of devs that are really entwined with their communities. Why, like, Foyu's been trying recently. Why do you think he still isn't very communicative, or whatever that word is? Why doesn't he communicate with his audience still at this point?
Because there's no point.
There's no point.
Um, like, like I was saying before, it's even if he does something good, people will always see the bad in what he does. Now,
Yeah.
this is low key me kind of defending Foley. Even there is no winning for this guy. He could probably make the best update ever, and there will still be something to complain about. From a consumer point of view. So I feel like if I was in Foley's position, I would probably I would be cussing people out. But if he doesn't gain anything from communicating with the community or with other people, because there's always going to be backlash to what he does or says. So
Yeah.
I don't know. His approach of just kind of staying silent until he doesn't stay silent anymore. It works. I guess we're used to it now as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's probably better that he doesn't do too much talking. And then even like with the Rao brothers, right? They do a lot of talking, and there's always negative feedback around. Oh, these guys are so arrogant, and Rail Seas isn't even all that. What's giving them so much confidence? So if you talk, you're doomed, and if you don't talk, you're doomed. So it
Yeah.
is what it is. I guess in that aspect, well, you should probably just keep doing what he's doing.
Yeah. So, from an older player's perspective, how do you feel about how the game's progressing now when it feels like it should have progressed this way prior to this point in time?
Fuck you, for you. It is the answer to that question. Like, man, do you know how crazy it would have been if like after update 4 with the two sword style, we got like a free sword style update for like update 5 or update 6.
Yeah, we got
I don't
screwed.
know. It would have been crazy. But then again, even with the good he's doing with like the free sword style, he's not really adding any significant weapons that you can use these things with. Right?
Yeah.
Like having free sword style and then having to use sea beast katanas, like it kind of takes the it's not as interesting, it's not as entertaining. Like there's no real it's like doing one good thing and then a bad thing with it. There's not a bunch of new weapons that come out that you can use with the free sword style. Like eh, uh, it should I don't know. Feel you, bro.
All right.
Kind of takes the point out of it. If I have to use old weapons to use the new fighting styles, it's kind of boring.
Yeah. Okay. So, how do you how do you think the PvE mechanics have progressed since update 0? And no, of course it's gotten better, but I'm what I
Has it?
mean is like, whoa.
Has it
You
got
know,
better?
has it?
Honestly, that's a like genuinely. Has it got better?
You know, that is a
I feel like
pretty good
it's
question.
I feel like it's almost, if not the exact same. I feel like I still till this day I think the best boss Foyu's ever made is Arlong. It was the only interactive boss where it's like, yeah, you could do it without a Bari user, but update 0 back when no one really had fruits, you had a Bari user in your party, you take Arlong down way better. It's like there was kind of like a method to taking Arlong down.
Yeah.
And then all the other bosses, even till now, you just kind of spam until they're dead. To be honest with you, so is has PVE really going better? I think it's the exact same. To be honest with you,
Mm, okay.
I,
So,
I've even heard Impel Down's a bit broken right now with some of the bosses and mobs.
I think I heard that too. I don't remember. Okay. So, you know when Foyu decided to add Geppo to every fighting style. How do you
Hmm.
like? I personally feel that that was a pretty bad move. What do you think about it?
This is one of those 50-50 things. I think a lot of people will say, of course, it's good because imagine like you couldn't have a sword style, and if you had a sword style, you couldn't Geppo. You're just kind of stuck to the ground. Even though that's low key the point. I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I think it was definitely in good inclusion in terms of like balancing PvP, just making things a little bit more accessible to everyone. I think it probably was a good move to do that.
Okay.
Because I do remember the days where you had to use one sword style and you were stuck on the ground. It was irritating. But one sword style was kind of better than Blackleg, but Blackleg was kind of better than one sword style because you could Geppo, and I think once Blackleg had way better extenders as well. It really depends on the player, to be honest with you. But one
Mm,
sword style is definitely more fun to use, but it's just you were stuck on the ground. No, the Geppo was definitely a good inclusion for everyone.
okay. So overall, what I really want to know is what could Foyu have done better at each step to have kept that community that he had garnished at the start?
Um, First things first, if you actually watch One Piece, it would definitely help.
He doesn't watch One
Um,
Piece still?
I doubt it. That boy is a One Piece TikTok clip watcher. That boy does not watch One Piece. I doubt he sat down and caught up with One Piece. Um, what could a Folio have done? I feel like if he just, I think it was doomed from the start. Genuinely, not necessarily doomed. GPO's made Folio very rich, and the game is even as bad as it is actually pretty successful. Um, But I feel like if Foyu went down the One Piece route, man, if GPO like was actually a One Piece game, if it wasn't just meant to be, I feel like GPO is just a higher quality version of Blocks Fruits or modern version of Blocks Fruits. It doesn't really change a lot that already existed before it.
Yeah.
If GPO was an actual RPG replication of One Piece. It could have been great. Ship customization, ship upgrading, getting new weapons and upgrading those. Just an actual RPG game. It definitely would have been great with more emphasis on exploration, naval combat actually being a part of the game. Um, I wish he kept fruits hard to get. It
Yeah.
was really fun back then. Um, he went down the sim. I feel like he did a simulator blocks fruits type of vibe with the game, whereas every update was just kind of the same. A level cap increase, an island, a boss with some new drops, and a fruit or two.
Yeah.
And it was the same cycle for the longest time. He never really, and the islands were just a giant square or giant circle. So he never really tried to make a One Piece game. It was a money farm simulator, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It was cooked from the get go, honestly.
Dang. Okay. So the real last question I want to ask you is how long do you think Grand Peace has till it is officially dead or dropped to like 2K to 1K and below?
Uh, I honestly think it depends on the success of Rail Cs. Uh,
Second in balance.
GPO, no, for real. GPO doesn't actually have a lot going for itself.
Yeah.
Whereas people are craving a good One Piece game. Now, if Rail Cs is actually able to live up to expectations, this is no glaze. This is purely what ifs.
I understand.
If Rail Cs actually like delivers on its promises and what we've seen actually holds true, it will definitely take players off of GPO. Probably it'll take players off of Block Streets to a certain extent. I don't think it'll suck Block
Yeah.
Streets dry. But the people who are actually just sitting around waiting for a good One Piece game will 100% migrate to RLCs.
Pause.
Now, this is
I'm sorry, you said
this is
suck dry. It's over, bro. You had to say pause.
nah, but I wasn't even thinking about it like that. But yeah, pause. But yeah, nah, it depends on RLCs for sure. It depends on RLCs.
Yeah.
And not even just RLCs. Again, if we get influx 2025, if the developers finally keep to their words, because
Oh.
these Roblox developers say something's coming out and then they delay it for 10 years. If the developers stick to their word, 2025 genuinely should be the year for Roblox anime. So if there's a bunch of good anime games coming out one after another, why is anyone still playing GPO at that point?
Oh yeah, I understand.
So yeah, it's just a matter of time. I think GPO survival is just based on time,
Okay.
100%.
Okay. So, do you have anything you want to add before we end this?
Not really.
All right.
Keep doing what you're doing, man.
Thank you for popping in for me.
No
Thanks. I chose.
problema.
Thank you for watching. I'm Kasai Chose once again, and if you would like more videos like this, go ahead and comment and like this one. Kasai Chose out.